This is A Line Around Your Thoughts, a podcast that centers on conversations with artists, writers, musicians, and creatives from around the Inland Northwest. I'm your host, EJ Iannelli. And joining me in the Rogue Heart Media studio today is Darrien Mack, who is a photographer, a videographer, a DJ, a hip-hop artist, and much, much more. And we're going to get into all those facets through the course of our conversation. So, welcome, Darrien.
Hey, thanks for having me here.
We have been seeing a lot of one another lately, and we're kind of like ships passing in the night. And so we saw one another at Charlie Pepitone's film screening.
That's right.
And then we saw one another at Terrain, and you vanished before I before I could explain the funny looks that I was giving you. And then
you were giving me funny looks.
Yeah. So from across the street,
Oh.
you were dressed in BDUs in camouflage.
That's right.
And, I was giving you funny looks on that account, which I then thought I was going to follow up with an explanation. And then I kind of caught up to you, and I was going to say, that's kind of a funny choice for an urban environment. But you vanished. And that's why I sent you a note saying, like, the camouflage worked because you were gone before I could say anything. So
I didn't see it as like an awkward look. I was just like, oh, there's EJ. I've seen him everywhere. And then I went straight back to work. It wasn't weird at all. It was cool.
Yeah, and so you were there, obviously, to perform with Truehoods, but also you were doing some camera work, if I'm not mistaken. There were a couple folks who were doing things where running the camera along the crowd to get some crowd shots. Were you doing the social media and other things that you now do for Terrain there?
Yes. So we've been trying to gather a lot of archival footage of all of Terrain's events. So whether that's the main night for Terrain, like the actual event, or if that's the preview night or creative enterprise, like any of Terrain's pockets of influence in the city, we just try to capture some good video of all those so that later on we can make some really good videos from whatever we're doing.
And your official title there is Digital Content Manager, is that right?
It's currently what it is.
Okay. Currently,
Yeah.
are there things in the works that are going to make that augmented?
Yes. Yeah. So what's happening right now is we're hiring a larger staff, and we're trying to specialize each person and like focus on something very specific. So I love doing video, and Ginger knows that. And over time, we've slowly honed my ability so that I'm only focusing on video rather than having to do other pieces of the social media or marketing branch that I'm not the biggest fan of doing myself. Or there are other people who can do a finer job than I can, which we currently have hired 2 more people to do aspects of that role and expand in other ways. So someone who's focused primarily on actually posting things and gathering that type of content, and then someone who's reaching out to other businesses to do collaborations and get our name out where it's supposed to be.
And when did you start that role? Was that within the past maybe 6 months or so, 6 to 9 months?
I'd say like right when I started. There was just a need that needed to be, filled, and I had the ability to do it. It was just more like there was only so long that I could hold that up in the way that I work, for it to be like sustainable and for it to really work.
And what way is it in which you work that you were worried about upholding? Are you a bit of a perfectionist?
There's that. So Ginger and I both are perfectionists, and also I'm a creative writer and not like the writing of a nonprofit arts organization. Like I didn't have that like in me, like the knowledge of the company and the way to speak from the perspective of the organization wasn't something that I was the greatest at. I'm great at showing what's happening, getting those close-ups, getting those wides of everything, and editing all that down. And no one else there can do it like that. And so my role is really being honed and really being maximized in a way where I feel like I actually have a voice even though I'm not typing. It's like the language behind the camera is really being communicated, and I could show the beauty of this organization and the people that we interact with.
Well, you've kind of made it easy for me in a way, because I was wondering, how are we going to be able to cover all these facets of what you do? And here you've just kind of set up the video aspect quite nicely. So is video your first love?
I would say the camera is my first love in a professional aspect. Back in high school was when I learned how to use DSLRs. They didn't have video function back then, but that's why the photography side was kind of my first side of like getting into like showing things creatively. Sure, I drew stuff back when I was in elementary school, and I would doodle, but like when I got my hands on a camera that had depth of field, I was like, this is incredible. When I got to college, I realized that, like, someone told me that one of the episodes of House was filmed on a DSLR, and I was like, one of these things that I'm holding right now, like cool shows are made on this. And then it took me down that path of messing with cameras, and so yes, cameras are my first love.
And specifically DSLR, it wasn't film that was your entry point, it was the digital?
It was the digital, just because I had access to it. I was used to using point and shoots right when I got into college, and then there were people that I was around who were upperclassmen who were like at basketball games shooting on this little camera, had a lens that pops out, and I was like, what's this? What's going on here? And they were recording, and they had like shallow depth of field on stuff, and I was like, this is way better than this piece of crap I'm using. And I just learned more, and the technology around the world started to increase and become more available. And yeah.
And you say college, and that was at Whitworth?
That's right.
Okay. And so you graduated to some extent, and I don't think you left photography behind entirely. That's still something that's very much within your wheelhouse. But then you kind of graduated to videography.
That's right.
At what were those early years behind the video camera like?
The first word that came to my mind, which is dramatic but atrocious. I was shooting weddings for $100, and I was I was learning a lot for like the editing side. Like I could shoot and like developing like a visual style and a language just to communicate certain emotions or get movements down, but it was bad. It was really bad.
Well, they got what they paid for. $100 for a wedding shoot. That tracks.
Yeah. It moved up to 300, and then it got a little bit higher. And
but as you get better, yeah.
And then I stopped doing videos for weddings, and now I DJ weddings instead, which is way easier for me.
Again, you're just going from giving me one seg after another, kind of teeing them up. So you mentioned DJing.
That's right.
When did the Rosethrow persona kind of emerge onto the scene? So were you DJing, and you said, look, I'm going to need a moniker, and that's going to be Rosethrow? Or did you say, I am DJ Rosethrow, and that will manifest itself in my DJing skills?
When I started DJing, I went under the name DJ Darrien, which is, once again, just atrocious. That's the worst. And I got really irritated with the fact that people feel like they need to attach the term DJ in front of it. Like, you don't say singer Adele. Like, you just know that this person is Adele, and they'll be doing this art form. You don't need to say the title in front of it. So I was like, okay, DJ Darrien is awful. How long did you operate as DJ Darrien? We don't got to talk about it. No, it was probably like 3 months. I feel like it was 3 months. I don't know for sure. A lot of that time, I don't remember that well. But let's just say it was 3 months.
Is there a reason for the hazy memory? Or is it just something you've tried to push out of your memory? Like, any juvenilia, you're like, let's pretend that didn't happen.
Well, a lot of it was right around the time of COVID.
All right. Okay.
And so some of that time, I just don't remember that well.
Yeah.
Just because it wasn't the greatest. And so I just don't have a hard sense of like when things happen, because there wasn't anything in the world that I can pin it to.
So you weren't Rosethrow before 2020?
Not really.
Interesting.
It was there was a little bit of time where like the switch happened, and like the time leading before that, like I don't really remember when that switch happened, like right before COVID. I feel like it was like right at the start. Yeah, it's hazy. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's equally hazy for me, obviously, because I feel like I've always known you as that, and you're synonymous.
Interesting.
So that's a good thing. I mean, that's the ideal, isn't it? So you started DJing, and what did those early DJ sessions look like? Were you just doing small parties, or did you kind of burst onto the scene? Because you're now doing Emma Rue's every Friday night.
That's right.
You DJ'd in Daba as well.
Yep.
Is that here on Monroe?
Yep, just right down the street.
Oh, rock on. So yeah, you've got these regular DJing gigs, and then of course, just at various gigs all around town. When did that start picking up? And was there a period of acclimation?
Absolutely. So right before COVID happened, I was DJing on like a very, very small piece of junk Newmark controller that I got from a friend of mine, Justin Landis. And I started building up my ability through D.O.'s like birthday party. He did this, what did he call it? He called it a YOLO party, but it was the Dolo party. Interesting name. But I think that was like, I remember that being like one of my first shows. And, I was still getting used to it. I didn't have the methodology down or understanding what my music selection should be. So those early shows weren't the greatest in terms of enjoyment. It was just like a lot of learning and like trial through the fire, like really being on that stage, having however many people were there for the event, and then I start playing music that I like, but I didn't have like the right,
It's an art.
It's an art. And having all those people like end up trailing out early, because it's just like I was like learning on the spot.
Yeah.
There would be practice sessions that I'd have at my apartment at the time, but a lot of what I did was learn while I was on stage.
And was this something that you were doing in your bedroom prior to this? Like, were you doing bedroom DJing like people are bedroom musicians before they embark on or go out on the stage? So is it something that you had been indulging in, or was it something more like, I'd like to be a DJ and the world is my playground?
The latter. Yeah. I hardly did it at home. To be honest, a lot of my practicing was in front of people, and I found that to be really useful, because then I learned immediately what worked and what didn't. And I would be reading the room and getting a language for how to read the room and understanding like what gets people to behave in a certain way, or what can lead people to interact with me in a certain way based off of the BPM, the rhythm of the song, the type of sound print or sound imprint that a song may have, certain instruments, like all of that I gained while just being in front of people.
And, clearly to go into DJing, you have to be a music lover. And are these attributes like BPM and mood and that sort of thing, were those qualities that you were acutely aware of beforehand, or were they qualities that you began to appreciate more when they need to entertain a crowd?
Music curation, I think, has always been something I've been interested in. I didn't have the ability to do it on any type of mixer, or I didn't even understand what control vinyl was at the time. It was just like, I love music. It's always been in my home. My mother would be playing music all throughout the day. Every kid who looks like me knows about Sunday mornings and hearing, R&B or gospel music, and it's like, oh, it's time to clean. So it's like, that was just always a thing. Just having Erykah Badu and having like Lauryn Hill just echoing through the walls of the home, waking you up, and getting to a place where that feeling was something that was easy to bring into spaces, and that knowledge of that type of music, and bringing it to people who don't even look like me, but just bringing that.
And did mention some specifics there in Lauryn Hill and Erykah Badu. And we've talked very generally so far about music, but I'm interested in some more specifics. Like, so you're interested in music curation. I think anybody who ever made a mixtape has some appreciation for music curation or mix CD. So what sort of playlist are we looking at when, and this is, we're not even in the lightning round yet. What sort of playlist? What's on your ideal playlist?
Well, it depends on the space. So there are like these outdoor events that I play at. There are places like Indaba, which is like, I mean, that's in the morning. So what we try to do over there is play something that can energize people to get through the day, rather than what I do at Emaruz, which is bring people down in terms of, it's like you've already done the work for the day. You come there to relax and to kind of settle into your night.
Yeah.
And there'll be some moments within the sine wave of sound where we'll get some high points of energy with the rhythm or with like the sound profile. But for the most part, we try to, sit people in it.
Yeah, and so are you? I mean, obviously, Emaruz is a slightly more sophisticated and a swankier establishment than Indaba on a Sunday morning.
Sure.
So, what sort of artists are we looking at between the two? It's just to get a feel for that sort of music curation in that space.
Yeah, I'll try and say names that people would get because
We'll throw in some obscure ones.
I'll do it all. I'll do it all.
We're here to learn something as well.
Well, because the thing is that I try to play music that people don't immediately recognize in terms of who the artist is. Like I just got back from Seattle and I saw a guy named Mack Keen. He's from Los Angeles. He's in between the ages of like 28, 34. He is influenced clearly by D'Angelo, but his skin looks like yours. So the lowest hanging fruit that people usually say about someone like him is like white chocolate. They call him white chocolate. There's like a story that someone put up where it's him singing on stage with this sultry voice. Just it's honestly incredible how good he is at singing. But he looks like you. And so it's like it's just like a weird juxtaposition that people have, and they're like, oh, okay, I see you, white chocolate. It's like, no, let's move on from that and just be like, he's a good soul singer or a good R&B singer. But so the D'Angelos, I already said Erykah Badu, Lauryn Hill. So there's like this neo soul area that I focus in on, and then we got like our house area. A lot of these artists I actually don't even know the names. Like I can't remember. I know a lot of the names of the songs, but there's just so many different artists. There's like such a wide diversity of these artists that I'm just like, I don't, there's too much. There's too much for me to remember, but I have my favorites. Let's think of the hip hop side. I mean, I can't even do it. There's too many to name.
So when I was growing up, I read a lot of music magazines and like DIY, more like zines. And, I would come across really obscure artists and go out and seek them out and then see if I liked them or not. And then people would ask me like, how did you hear about this? And it's like, it was hard to pinpoint. I would always say, well, you just do, if you're invested in something, you just do, you just find out about stuff. For you, how are you coming across some of these more obscure names that, would be difficult for other folks to come across, even if they were interested just outside the musical mainstream and they wanted to kind of go down or explore some of those rabbit holes? What are some of your sources with that?
Yeah, I would say right now, Instagram and Spotify have been a really big resource. Instagram ads, for some reason, are killing it right now. They've got your algorithm. They have my ear down. They show me a lot of stuff that I am not into, but my ear is trained so well to just pick up on stuff that I'm like, that will sound good in any room, or, oh, this will sound good in this other room. And it's like, it's pulling artists that aren't the most popular, right? They're not bringing in people who have 500,000 monthly listeners. They're bringing in some people that may work with those artists or who are closely associated or who even sound similar. But so once again, the Mack Keens, the Gabriel Jacobys, the Red Rosamond, and I'm able to actually DM these people on Instagram and talk to them because they're just like, they're still, honestly, they're still human, and they respond, and I like send videos of me playing their music either at the roller rink when I would DJ over there, at Indaba, at Emaroo's, and they're like, oh, what? And then they share it. And so like Instagram will send me stuff. Also, my biggest resource right now is the Spotify Go to Your Radio. So like you could pull up any song, and then you click on that song, and then it goes to like go to radio station based off of that song.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, it'll bring up 50 songs that are within the same or a similar ecosystem. And I'll just go through. I usually slide my, like the slider up to like right underneath the shuffle button. And I listen to, honestly, like 10 seconds. And I'm like, I know if I could save this, or I know if I don't want to use it for these rooms that I'm in. But those are the two biggest ways that I'm finding new music.
But it sounds like you're spending quite a bit of time pretty much every single week listening out and looking out for new music that can be incorporated, because I think freshness, I mean, it's one thing to play the hits, and that's what some people expect of DJs, but they're also here expecting a certain amount of freshness, and so that onus is on you to keep things fresh.
Yeah, the freshness is a big piece of what I think my brand of Rosethrow is here to supply for people. I want people to be out there, honestly, like rubbernecking and being like, whoa, what's this? And then they're sneakily Shazamming the song because they don't want to interact with me. They're like, what's that thing over there doing? This song's amazing. What song is this? Siri. And then they'll capture it. Like there would be times at the rink where this kid named Jordan, I call him a kid, but he's probably like 25, but he would always be like, hey, I Shazam these songs tonight. And I'm like, people don't have to do that, but it just means a lot to me when I feel like I'm playing obscure stuff or obscure artists, right? The rhythm is similar. The vibe is there to what they're familiar with, but they haven't heard of this person who is influenced by all these larger icons that we're aware of. So the people who are inspired by Prince, inspired by Michael Jackson, the late D'Angelo, like all these people that we're aware of. What's her name? She put out the album. People are gonna roast me for this. What is her name? I have her album on my wall. She put out Rapture.
Blondie?
No. Goodness gracious. Oh my gosh. Riding in my GNX with Anita Baker.
There we go. Okay.
I had to pull on the Kendrick Lamar strings to get that artist out. But yes, so the people who are influenced by all these brilliant, artists who made music 20 years ago, who are making music now, it's like I play all of them and I play them back to back, and they weave together really well. And like going from the hip hop into the R&B, into the soul, into the funk, which goes into the house, like it all communicates together. And trying to supply something fresh almost every set is important to me.
Yeah. And then, DJing is, that's the music curation arm of your, the various strings in your musical bow. But then you've also got this life as a hip hop artist and in Truehoods. And this is a 3-piece. And I'm curious about when that evolved, because as far as I could, kind of sync up the years, there was Super Sparkle, which you had involvement with, right?
Yeah.
And then that kind of went dormant. And then I don't know if the musical life was kind of calling to you, or the music production side was kind of calling to you. And that's when Truehoods was engendered.
Let's see. When I was in Super Sparkle, our drummer, Claire, there was a point when I was DJing where she was like, hey, it seems like you're really finding those things that really like communicate to you. Like you do a lot of stuff, but when I started DJing, she was like, yeah, this is really something that it seems like you really care about. And then shifting that into the rapping, she was like, I think you found it. But like the transition from being a background dancer for a neo pop group into
neo-pop, neo soulish too. I mean, there was some soulish R&B-ish elements to Super Sparkle.
It was in there.
Yeah,
it was in there. Those are the days. Those are the glory days. They might be playing at my wedding. I don't even know if I'm supposed to say that, but I'm trying to get them to play at my wedding.
Well, this is a good. You can hold them to account. You can say, "I said it," and it's out in the open.
I need y'all. So that transition happened through another one of my mediums. So I was working at a place called Colormatics. I was an editor at this creative agency, and we were working on an STCU holiday video, which Manny, one of the lyricists of Truehoods, was in, and also
he goes by Manny the Third.
Correct.
Yeah,
Manny the Third. Love that guy. So it was Manny the Third who was the artist of that video. Logan, who is the producer of all of the Truehood songs, he was also in the video. So he was making music with Manny. I've known Logan for years. We played Super Smash Brothers together competitively. I'm better. And
For the record,
he's washed. It's he's gonna love that. So I edited that video. Manny wanted to meet me because of that video. He's like, "Who's this guy who edited the heck out of this video? He did so good. I want to meet him." I then wanted to film him and Logan, like, just practicing. I got this new camera at the time, and I was really interested in just like learning how to use it on the spot, but not really charging people.
what kind of camera was it?
It was a Blackmagic Pocket 6K, or I had a 6K at the time.
Okay.
So I was using that, and I was trying to learn, but I was like, I need something to film. I need something that's real. I don't want to just be filming plants or anything.
Or just doing weddings and
Oh no. So he met me. We went and got some burritos, Taco Vado. We were chilling, and then he's like, "Hey, you want to come to the studio and just like hang out?" I went to the studio. I filmed them just like setting up and rapping into the mic, and then they both looked at me randomly and were like, "Do you want to hop on the mic?" And I was like, "I don't rap, but here, give me 20 minutes." And I wrote some trash. I wrote some random stuff, and I performed it in a way that I've never felt as comfortable as I've never felt that comfortable before. These guys provided like this space for me to just like fail and to feel weird and not care. And I performed it, and they were like kind of blown away.
Yeah. So you're telling me this, and you can see the look of incredulity on my face because, I mean, you are a natural if that's the case. If you just were kind of put on the spot and they said, "Hey, jot down some lyrics and then get on the mic." I mean, this is like 8 Mile stuff. This is, this is, you have my compliments there because, you seem really at home. Really at home.
Well, I think I spent a lot of time going over other musicians' lyrics and actually like reciting them. Like there are some people that I know that can't really recite while a song is going out loud. It's like they're like trying to catch up to it, and it doesn't sound like things are like together.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of time going over the lyrics of Aesop Rock, who is probably one of the most lyrically dense. I think most hip hop artists know this. Like he's incredible at what he does. He released an album today. But he's lyrically dense. Like it's wild how much he could fit into a line. And as he's rapping about like donut shops, or rapping about like his cat named Kirby, or rapping about I think it was a cat of his that passed away, and it's like a song called Homemade Mummy. And so he's like not even rapping about stuff that you would think rappers would rap about, but honestly that's truly what it is. It's like you can rap about anything. I should be able to tell you how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in a very like lush way. Like I should be able to do that. So I studied his lyrics. I studied Earl Sweatshirt, a lot of Earl Sweatshirt. I studied a lot of like there was just so many artists that I was reciting, and I'd even do that in front of people. So I would do that at Broken Mic over at Nito Burrito back when I was in college, and like over the years of just doing that, I developed a palette for saying words faster than the normal and pinning together all these sentences and studying lines of like what are those called? Those are like hip hop battles, like rap battles.
Yeah.
Like I watch a lot of like rap battles and how they're constructing like their schemes, like outside of all the gun bars, like just how people are talking about what they're going to do.
Yeah.
The double speak, the triple, quadruple entendre type talk. Like there's one line by a gentleman. I'll call him a gentleman. At the time, he was a gentleman. Nowadays, not so much. But he used to go by Kanye West. Okay. He has a line that I think perfectly encapsulates the direction that my art, in terms of with my voice, has gone. He says something like, I've been killing these rappers on that lyrical. I'm not going to say the word. But he says, what is it? Mayonnaise colored Benz, I push miracle whips. That's it. That's the line. But that line blows the minds of lyricists because they get it. Mayonnaise colored Benz, I push miracle whips. Like there's so much in that.
Yeah.
It sounds so simple. To the untrained ear, they're going to be like, I mean, miracle whip is cool, I guess. But mayonnaise colored Benzes, I push miracle whips. Like that is so good. And incorporating that for the people who get it in all of my rhymes is such a joy to be able to do.
Well, you've also embarked kind of on and put out songs as Rosethrow. Mm-hmm. So you have this, Rosethrow is kind of a DJ persona, but it's also a hip hop persona as well outside of Truehoods. And there's a song, I mean, you're familiar with it because you wrote it, it's Mayor.
Oh yeah.
And I have to say, you know, I've been consistently impressed whenever I've seen you perform by the vocabulary from someone who kind of cut their teeth in writing and likes 25-cent words. Mayer uses the word eidetic, and that leapt out to me, and I thought, normally I go to, if I want 25-cent words in a song, Bad Religion has an awful lot of 25-cent words. Okay. But here is the word eidetic making its appearance, and it's unpretentious. It just rolls out. It's not there to be flamboyant. It's there because it's the right word. And so I've been, again, consistently impressed when I've seen you performing by just the vocabulary that you manage to incorporate in your songs. And I guess that's the creative writer manifesting itself in your hip hop persona or in your hip hop lyrics.
Yeah, it's funny because that's just how I talk. Like bringing in words like apricity. I learned that from Mental Floss back in the day, like in college. There was a list of, say, he had like 66 words or something, and I just loved just listening to, like, knowing what an agraph is, knowing what petrichor means, which is a pretty popular word now, but at that time I felt like no one that I knew what petrichor was. Yeah. So apricity, griffinage. I have that in a different song that I wrote, which is just like the poor penmanship of like a doctor when they're just like when they write you like something like a prescription.
So instead of chicken scratch, we should be using griffinage. Griffinage. Yeah, excellent.
And so honestly, that video showed me so much about words, and I just love, like, instead of course photographic memory, which is a thing that I do have, but another word for it is, or another term is eidetic memory, and it just sounds better to me. I like the fact that people would have to dig a little bit, be more invested into the art to really get it. Like they could hear it and it sounds nice and it sounds cool or whatever. Like the voice that I could create on a song, like the pocket that I, like where I put my glottis. Like, come on. Glottis, philtrum, like all these words I love. And so like where I put my glottis when I perform, like I have my speaking voice, which is up here. This is like my HR voice. Hey, how you doing? Hey,
and the smile to match.
Yes, just want to talk to you real quick.
Eager, yeah.
And then my rap voice, when I get down in this register, that's just how I present this aspect of myself in a way that I feel like is right where it needs to be. But Mayor, I'm still in my upper register for that song because I didn't find that voice yet with the darkness in it. And Isla Matisse, who is a brilliant hip hop artist here in town, one of the best freestyle artists in town for sure. He was telling me how strange it is for me to be talking about like basically burning another hip hop artist's their family tree down to ashes in our song called Bloodline. I'm like, anyone who's really faking this, like who's pretending to be a rapper, like I want y'all to stop. I want you guys to just quit. People who are using this for money instead of for the art of it and for the fact that you need to get it out. Like I want all of your stuff to just burn down. I don't want it to exist anymore. But I say it with a smile. He's like, maybe I want you to burn my family tree down. I'm like, what's happening? So I love this stuff.
Yeah, and so we have the creative writer, as I mentioned, manifesting itself in these hip hop lyrics, and then there's so much cross pollination. Like none of these things is particularly compartmentalized because, with Super Sparkle, you directed at least one of their music videos, and then you've also, I think you directed, or I'm pretty sure you directed. For Truehoods, there was a song off 1 to 6, and Charlie Pepitone was in the video.
Grapevine.
Yeah, Grapevine. There we go.
Yeah,
and so you directed that video as well, didn't you?
That's right.
Yeah. And so you've been flexing your muscles in the musical arena by directing. You've been flexing your video muscles in the music arena by directing these videos, and then also with the Charlie Pepitone short film. Now that wasn't the first time you had worked with him. So you were director of photography on his most recent film, Love, Eleanor, but you'd also edited his previous film.
That's right.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
I edited 3 of his previous films.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we've been working together since Terrain's, what was it? Uncharted series that they were doing.
I see.
So they'd had a Peter and the Wolf showing or a presentation over at the Washington Cracker Building back when I was like a kid, not like a kid, but I was like new to all this, and we were like the 2 people in like the art department. So I met him there, and then he had me. So we worked together on Uncharted. We worked together on Cop Mall, which was one of the first. Well, that was the first film that I worked on with him because his videographer had a family situation and he was no longer able to edit. And Charlie was like, well, who do we know? He was speaking with the producer and his wife, Becca. And she's like, well, what about that Darrien kid that you worked with before? And then they got me to finish the film. And so Cop Mall, we also worked on Climbing Arrows, which was also taking place on the island that we shot Love, Eleanor on, which was interesting because I was recognizing places based off the edit from...
Right, because you didn't travel there for Climbing Arrows, so you just edited, and then as DP on Love, Eleanor, you got to go on location.
Yeah, and I was like, that's where you and your son like went up the hill. And I was like piecing it all together, and then finally for this film, after we worked on another one called Without Them I Am Lost, like all these films, like working on those. And then he had me DJ for an onstage performance of like a reimagining of Romeo and Juliet. So like he keeps bringing me into stuff. I don't know why he wants to use me for all this stuff, but hey, I'm here for it.
Well, again, showcasing those many facets that I promised we would get to. And yeah, so there's the videography that you're doing as well, not just for Charlie, but you're then making appearances at Pivot. So here we have this live storytelling series.
That's right.
And yet you were doing the video work for that as well. And I think that's how we first ended up starting seeing one another initially, if I recall correctly. But yeah, and you were also with Community Minded Television. You were the cameraman for Lilac City Live. I don't know if it was for the duration of its run or just select episodes.
It was just for the earlier stages.
Okay.
I would allow like the work that we do at Community Minded at the time. It was Deshaun Bedford and I.
I see.
And we would allow them to use our cameras. and then I would still fill in and kind of film for them. But let's see. That was a lot. I'm trying to figure out where to start. What was the first thing that you spoke about?
Well, I was talking about going all the way back to doing the music videos for Super Sparkle and doing the Grapevine music video for Truehoods.
And then Pivot.
And Pivot.
There we go.
Yeah.
So with Pivot, I'm on the board for them.
Oh, okay.
And I remember going back in an old email that I received from them. I was going through all my Yahoo emails, and I was like, okay, I don't want this. This is all junk. And then I searched under my name, like my full name. And I was like, anything that has my full name, I'll look at. If it doesn't, I feel like it's not for me.
That's how to get a hold of you. Okay. Now I know.
And it was a message from Pivot and from Eric. And it was like, hey, like from years before. And it was like, hey, do you want to be involved with this storytelling thing? And I kind of went on a whim, and I was like, hey, sorry, I didn't see this. I have multiple emails. This is Yahoo. I don't really use it. It's kind of just my junk email. Here's my new one. You guys have any slots available? And I was put on to that next pivot, and it was centered around time. And that was around the time that my grandma was moving back to like New Orleans, and I was like finding all these photos and videos of my mom that I thought were gone forever. And I ended up speaking about that, and it happened on her birthday, like the event night. I didn't know that at the time. I'm bad with birthdays, and I forgot when my mother's birthday was because she was gone for so long. So she passed back in 2010. And so like I've been so far removed from like celebrating her birthday that I just like forgot exactly what day it was. And after I finished performing, I was like, oh crap, it's like this story is about her, and it's happening on her birthday. This is so interesting. That's weird. But yeah, so I filmed my story with my camera, and then Eric eventually was like, hey, do you want to be on the board? Like, I DJ'd that night. I told a story. I hosted the next one. And then he's like, we kind of like this guy. You want to be involved with what we're doing? You bring a freshness. You bring an energy.
And you bring those multiple talents. You know, if hey, I need a DJ, I need a storyteller, I need a videographer, and it's like we can get that with one guy.
and I redesigned the Pivot logo.
Oh, did you?
Slightly. It's basically the same, but I just revised it a little bit and created just like some stronger visual branding. But I love doing things. That's honestly what all of it comes from. Like ultimately, I'm just trying to use a different word besides creator. I feel like that's a overused term for what I do. What words could you come up with?
Oh, I'm not used to being put on the spot.
What you got? And forger has a negative connotation, so
it does. Yeah, I mean, creative has become kind of the catch-all term, I think, for someone who creates, and then I guess it would depend on whatever the discipline is. So yeah, if you are a writer, then you become a storyteller. Not all writers are necessarily storytellers, but yeah.
I think there was a point in time when I just described myself as a designer that uses multiple mediums to do that. So when I DJ, I look at it as a form of design. When I use the camera, I'm using all those elements and principles I've designed within it. Composition, line, like leading lines, all that stuff is in there. When I design, I'm designing. But then when I'm writing, when I'm creatively writing, like there's a piece of design in there with how I'm a syllable counter. Like that's why my flow sounds the way it does, because like the structure of it has to be a certain way in my mind's eye.
And does all that stuff? So we generally have two pillars, and there's the Rosethrow pillar, and then there is the fuzzy revolver. Now, does a lot of this design work and videography, does that take place under the fuzzy revolver umbrella, or has that become a little more nebulous and a little less defined? Yeah,
the fuzzy revolver umbrella is a new thing.
Okay.
I've been trying to find ways of.
It's still fuzzy.
I see what you did. I've been trying to find ways of like now when I describe to people what I do, I'm like, I do 4 things primarily. I do videography, I do design work, I DJ, and I'm a rapper. And those are separated between my, like, the front end, the performance side, and then the back end, like all the stuff that assists those other aspects. So when I'm designing my logos, when I'm designing how a video is going to look and directing all that, these power these in terms of how to market it. And it's only been recently that I've like put out this fuzzy revolver thing. Like the Instagram has like 7 people on it. Like it's only the people that I've worked with. Like it's very muted, it's honestly like a back end thing. Like I don't really put it out there too much. It all usually goes under the Rosethrow thing, or people think that it's the Rosethrow thing, but it's still it's the other avenue, just to separate it a little bit.
Yeah, and the fact that you've got it, you're able to indicate on your hand, this very clear taxonomy between the front end and the front of the house, back of the house, that sort of thing. And one of the things that I think you have repeatedly cited appeals to you is cleanliness. You like a cleanliness of design.
Yes.
And so, it's a certain order. I'm guessing that this is a reflection of your personality. Are you an orderly person at home, or is home an absolute mess, but you like order in other aspects of your life?
Well, my fiance and I, we just cleaned on Sunday. That's our...
To R&B?
Sorry?
Were you listening to R&B at the time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're listening to R&B. I was showing her so much new music.
Okay. Was it a Sunday morning?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's our...
that's the routine.
That's our day. It's like a... do we call it Sanctuary Sunday, or do we call it we call it something with alliteration in there. It's like a special Sunday where we try not to work on stuff. We try to be together and just do something that's going to help us start that next week off right. So whether that's putting fresh sod in the backyard together and putting gravel all through there, or in a section so we can put a shed there, like we'll do that, or we'll just like stay in the house all day and just like watch all the Aladdins that have came out, because she's Princess Jasmine. That's what she wanted to be for Halloween. So like that's what it's... Those last 2 are terrible. They're so bad. Mainly the second one, but the third one's okay. But let's see. I always get off on these tangents and I forget what I was going to say. Give me one word.
The tangents are good. I like the tangents because I mean, that's the whole point of the lightning round, which you're already anticipating. We end up exploring some different areas, but I welcome the tangents because it highlights different aspects, different sides of things.
What was the track? What was I supposed to talk about?
I was talking about orderliness. I was talking about the cleanliness of design, and whether that orderliness is reflected in your life or not. I love order, but I can also be extremely untidy, and so you would think those are somewhat at odds with one another. But maybe my desire for order is just a reaction to my level of untidiness.
I think in my life, I'm pretty tidy.
Yeah.
People that are in close fellowship with me, I think they're aware of that. Like even the way I eat, like my plate is clean. Like,
and do you eat one thing at a time?
I don't have to. It depends on what like food I'm eating. If it's like soul food, I let things mix.
Right.
Because the way that an entire bite of like sweet potatoes mixed with dirty rice and with greens, all that, and then with like a little bit of turkey, all in one bite. It's kind of a, it's insane how all that tastes in one bite. But yeah, I don't need to have it like spread apart. But the cleanliness is a big thing within my life, and then it is definitely reflected in all of my creative art forms. Like getting things down to a clean way to present is really big for me.
Yeah.
All my logos, honestly my music videos, the designs that I make for people. I just made a a design for a friend of mine who I knew from the rink. His name's Peter, and he's doing a thing called Eclipse Fascia Bodywork and strength training, something like that. Sorry if I'm butchering your name, Peter, but yeah, like the logo, it's not too complicated. It's very orderly. He was like, we were working on it together, and I was like, okay, here's the general idea. I'm gonna need to make this mathematically sound, and I had this like page of like all these degrees, because it's an eclipse, so it has the moon in front and then the sun behind it, and it's like, and then all the rays are coming out of it. But I had to like find all the degrees to have this many spires of the sun popping out. So I remember my fiance walked in, and she was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just making a logo for Peter." And she's like, "What's all that stuff on that paper?" And it was like 12.6 degrees or 12.5 degrees, and then okay, 25, and it was like a perfect shape.
Yeah. Well, that cleanliness, it also is a reflection of oftentimes clarity of thought as well, because if you know what you want and you know what it's supposed to be, then then there can't be any room for sloppiness.
You know, there's a term that I've heard called a pixel pusher. I'm in there honestly, just like there we go. Down. I'm gonna look at the nope. Okay, now it's good. It's good. I think I care a lot about that type of stuff that no one else would even notice.
Yeah.
But it matters to me.
One of the things that I did want to touch on before we closed was Truehoods, and I think you had an album 13 that came out in March, and I was curious as to what's on the horizon. Are we going to see a 14? And I should clarify the naming convention, because we had tracks 1 to 6 it was an EP of sorts, a 12-song EP that was really 6 tracks, and and so we had 1 to 6. Then we had 7 to 12, and then we had 13, which had was 13 songs, but it was more than the total running count of songs that you've got. So what's next?
We're working on some more songs. We really like where we're at in terms of how our voices sound, how we're working together, the type of, I said it earlier, but like the sound profile of the songs. I think we're getting into that groove. Like those first ones were really just like testers, and they're just supposed to be archival.
Yeah, a lot of them had like 1, 2-minute running times. Yeah.
Because I was so new to it. I was like, I don't want to spend 3 years working on this song. I just want to get some stuff out and really exercise this passion that I'm discovering within myself.
And I should say, one of the things that was listed as a selling point or kind of a USP for 13 was that you had third verses.
Third verses, yeah. TS the Solution was like, I need a third verse, and I gave him that on Gefilte. I had him in mind the whole time. I was like, I'm gonna rap on this song, and I'm gonna give you a third verse.
Now with third verses, you
right.
need a little star sticker on
That's
there.
right, a little asterisk. Yep, got you now. But those first 12 songs we don't even perform those anymore. It's just like we just needed to get some footing, gather some confidence around like our balance. Like a lot of this is very equitable, like within how we create. Like we have the same amount of bars, Manny the Third and I, on these projects, and it's always going to be like that. We always try to have it very structured in that way. Like there's a design around it, right?
Yeah.
So the
cleanliness, tidiness, clarity of thought.
You should see what like these shared notes that we have on our iPhones. Like so it's, oh my gosh, it's so organized. Like the sample is listed there, the BPM, who's rapping first is listed on there for some reason, just so that I can look at the track list and be like, okay, I started these songs first, Manny started these songs first, our features start these songs, and like keeping that equitable as well, like always trying to find that correct balance for our artwork. But these next like 13 songs that we've made, I feel like are our strongest, in terms of presentation, in terms of confidence. There's like I was listening through all of it in the car when I was headed to Seattle, and I was like, man, there's such a clear progression within my voice in particular, and just how I'm presenting and how I project. Like there's such a clear, like, okay, it's good that you could see that I'm getting better, and that I'm only going to get better. And so for these next songs, we're just trying to continue that evolution of how we sound, of what these beats are going to be, how the production's going to come across. Like we want to have stuff that people could actually move to, like really focus on making songs rather than, we barred out for a lot of stuff. Like Gefilte once again has some of my favorite lyricism from me and from Manny, and my cousin Marshawn, who goes by Don Morisco. He's on that track and he's doing his thing. Like we're really like putting our like a lot of passion behind it. And the next project isn't going to be called 14.
That's kind of where I was leading,
No. It's probably going to be called A Game of Numbers.
Okay. Still keeping with the theme.
Yeah. That's just how the design is,
And you had some, collaborators or cameos, and one of them was the poet laureate Mary Smith, who was on 13. Are we going to see that trend continue as well?
I'm not sure. I hung out with her today. Yeah, that's the homie right there. We're working on a project together.
I say.
But I'm not going to say too much about what the project is.
Well, I'm going to have to get her in here and get her to spill the beans.
She is wonderful. We have a lot of similarities in our life, a lot of parallels with, her children, and then my brother who passed back, I think in 2021 or 2022, like in terms of having, like taking care of someone who is developmentally impaired, like that type of relationship, and like how that adjusts how you interact with the world. We're gonna do some good work together, and I'm excited for that.
Speaking of tangents, I'd like to know how it adjusts how you interact with the world. Like, how were you changed through that experience?
I think a lot of it made me more empathetic. Like seeing someone who I share a lot of time with, but then also we like look similar in ways. Like it's just interesting having someone who you see yourself or parts of yourself in the condition that they are, and that's just what they've been given. That's the life that they have, and you love the hell out of them, and you want to be there for them, and you're just helping them along the way. You don't know how long they'll be here. You don't know what their life truly is. You only have what you observe. You try to maximize as many smiles as you can. Like for someone who's nonverbal, who couldn't walk, never has walked. It's just like it's a place that kind of lets you be very thankful for where you're at in this world, knowing that not everyone has the ability to speak, not everyone has the ability to walk, to do things that I feel like a lot of people take for granted and don't understand what it's like not to have that. So I think that's a big piece of where my heart's coming from when I put my art out into the world. It's like making things accessible, making things like I put subtitles and stuff. When like I burn them into some of my content, because I know that some people can't hear. I don't have to do that, but I want to. And I don't know, there's something about it that like I used to sign with my brother a little bit. Well, I don't know too much. I did what I could at the time, but there's a lot of people out there, and trying to reach them.
Well, it's good. at least on that count, that you were, if we look on the good that came out of that you felt like it made you a more empathetic individual, and empathy is something that seems to be in desperately short supply these days. But also that you were able to connect with another human being on that basis, and that's what, allowed you to develop that relationship with Mary. And is the project that you're working on, is it kind of proceeding from that basis, or is that was that the connecting thread, and the project's going to be something completely different?
It was connected to the conversation that we had, because those 6 people that I called, or those 6 people whose voices were on the project, those all were just phone calls. I was sitting out in front of the Central Library in a parking spot, just like calling everyone and recording the conversation. Be like, hey, it's gonna make some noises every once in a while. I'm gonna call you and I want to record this. Is that okay? Be like, yeah, sure. And then we had wonderful conversations with AJ Ramirez, with Scott Ryan Ingersoll's daughter, Brindley. Yeah, I'm gonna go through all of them right now. We had Mary Smith. We had a good friend of mine, Nathan. And then we had my future mother-in-law, Tammy, and then Lance. I don't know if it's Lance Hugh or Lance Ho. I think it's Lance Ho, but people usually say Lance Hugh. But
I knew somebody with the same surname, and it was pronounced Huff. So, yeah, it could be. The possibilities are endless there. Yeah,
Lance H.
Yeah, Lance.
So those conversations bred like a lot of connectivity between these people and myself when I conducted them. And I think there was a lot of power in the conversation that I had with Mary, like an untapped connectivity that her and I had, and just like a chemistry that we had and an understanding from how we present ourselves in the world. And I think from that conversation, we've subconsciously try to find ways of interacting with each other in a professional way. So like that conversation is ultimately what is leading to the conversations that we'll have on this podcast-ish thing. I don't know what it is. I don't even know if I want to use the term podcast, but the naming that we're using is called Pear and a Peach. I tried thinking of like our favorite fruits. I don't know why, but hers, it's pears. Mine are peaches. I also love mangoes, but I'll go with peach for the alliteration. And it's really just going to be centered around conversations, similar to how the last part of this conversation has gone, talking about my brother, her talking about her lovely son, talking about just life itself, interactions with people, talking about things we love, things that have brought us grief. Like, we're going to talk about it all. Not everything's going to be sweet, but it's going to be in good taste. Did I just create a tagline for that?
You did.
What the hell?
And I was, this conversation has to close at some point. Now's as good a time as any, but I feel like there's a lot of paths that are yet to explore. So I'm hoping that this isn't the last time that we'll be in conversation. In the meantime, I'm going to have to bring Mary in and talk about a Pear and a Peach and all the other stuff that she's doing as poet laureate. So we're going to wrap up that, and then we're going to move into the already teased lightning round. And it's interesting because one of the things, I usually give either or questions, and one of the choices that I was going to present, and maybe I'm spoiling it for a future episode, but happy endings or ambiguous endings. And that was one I was going to present to you, and I was thinking, I don't know if that's entirely appropriate. But here I feel like, where that note on which we just ended, that you might be okay sometimes with those ambiguous endings over out and out happy endings.
I like ambiguous endings.
Yeah.
I like the piece that makes you think about where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite films, favorite songs don't have like the complete idea placed at the end. I feel like when it's created, that completion is supposed to be your thought, like attributed to it. So I would go with ambiguous endings.
Cool. But that's not where that's not the question. So you get an extra one. You get a bonus lightning round question. So this one,
You tricked me.
This one is also suited to you. Digital or analog?
That's an evil question.
And I'm forcing you to choose.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. It's funny because I'm probably going to go with digital because I'm also able to emulate analog within the digital. So, like, there's a quality within. Oh man!
And I had this in mind when I was asking about film cameras all the way back at the outset. Mm-hmm. And so when you were talking about DSLRs, I was thinking, there's the D.
Now that I'm thinking about it, it's very hard because I do have a collection of over 1,000 VHS tapes in my basement. And I could just do Blu-ray, I could do DVD, but I specifically chose VHS because they are no longer in production legally. So, and I love that tactile aspect of it. I have probably like 4 VCRs. Some of them are CRT combos where the television's attached. Like, I love that aspect. I just started a vinyl collection. That's one of the places I went to. I went to Easy Street Records over in Seattle yesterday. Like, this is a hard question.
Yeah, it's meant to be. It's meant to say, I've got to throw down on one side or the other.
You monster.
Yeah. And I have to say, vinyl, I love the tactile nature of vinyl. I like interacting. I like physically holding the music, flipping it. Yeah. So where are we landing on this?
I'm actually gonna pivot.
Okay.
I'm gonna pivot.
Many callbacks.
I'm gonna pivot over to analog because even within my digital work, there's a piece that always tries to aim towards the analog. Within the samples that we choose when we're doing Truehoods or Rosethrow projects, within my video stuff, I add grain to it. Like, I always add a couple layers of grain. There's always that within it. The VHS collection, the vinyl, the appreciation for that, for things that you could actually feel and own, like actually own it, rather than buy it on YouTube and then it's just like sitting there and it has no weight.
Nor is it really owned by you,
exactly.
But that's
you have a license to it.
Yeah, exactly.
I still buy the physical video game. I don't even really play video games anymore, but like having Super Smash Bros, the actual card that goes into my Switch, Animal Crossing, like I want the actual thing rather than just the digital.
And I should note for the audio version of this that you are actually physically touching the microphone stand. Even now you're reaching out. You want that physicality and that concreteness.
Yes.
Analog. Great.
Analog.
So this is a tough one. And again, I know your many, many talents and I know your many capabilities. And so this is why I had this question in mind for you. I would like you to do an impression of someone doing an impression of you.
Logan, Daniel McDonald does this all the time. All the time.
So he does impressions of you. So you're going to do an impression of Logan doing an impression of you.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Hey. That's one. That's all it is.
Just a hey and a finger point.
Hey. Hey. And then Jazzy, when she does impersonations of me, it's always centered around the brain rot that I have from watching way too many Instagram videos, and I'll just randomly be running through the house and I'm trying to think of something that's not too embarrassing. Oh my gosh. I say too many catchphrases and
Can you do an impression of Jazzy giving or doing one of your catchphrases?
I'm trying
one of the catchphrases that you're shouting.
I'm trying to think of one that's appropriate, but then also
you don't have to keep it clean either.
Really?
I'll tag an E. I'll tag an E for explicit, and then the 8-year-olds the many 8-year-olds, the legions of 8-year-olds who listen to this podcast won't be.
Well, it's hard because all of my branding is clean. We don't even use profanity in the Truehoods stuff.
We're in violation of the cleanliness rule.
Hey, so I can't do it. But you told me to do one, and I did one.
Okay.
It's honestly just Logan. Every time that he tries to impersonate me, he's just, hey. It's always a point, looking someone right in their soul and just going.
And I will encourage listeners at this point to go seek out the YouTube video counterpart to this so they can actually see you doing the impression of yourself. So I am well aware that you are a lifelong Spokenite. Mm-hmm. You've been here since day one.
Yep.
What is something that Spokane has lost that you would like to see return? Now, we hear a lot about Spokane getting better and better, and certainly like a lot of the art scene, the culinary scene, a lot of those things are more vibrant. Is there anything that has vanished that you would like to see more of?
That's a hard question because I don't know if the thing that I will answer with really is to the exact question that you have.
And it doesn't have to be physical. It can be an intangible. So if there's a je ne sais quoi, a certain quality that Spokane of 10 years ago had or 15 years ago had that it doesn't have anymore, I'm interested in hearing that too.
Okay. Because I don't think that I'm aware of things that it's lost. I'm just hyper aware of things that I know that it should have right now.
Okay.
That I wish it had right now, that I see prevalent in other cities. If I go to New Orleans, if I go to when I went to DC, when I go to Temecula, like all these places have that I don't see here in Spokane.
And that is
curiosity. I feel like there's a lack of curiosity in this city to be confronted or presented with something that they don't immediately understand. Like when I went to DC and I went to a place called The Flash. It was a 3-story building of 6 DJs. So 2 on the bottom, 2 in the middle, 2 on the top, all doing different types of house music, different types of dance. No phones were allowed, and it was packed. And I went there with my cousin Marshawn, Don Morisco, because his sister was getting married. So we flew down to DC and to Baltimore. And there was just such a care for the curated space, for like, something is happening here. I'm not in charge of it. I'm not going to try and change what's happening. I'm here to experience. Mm-hmm. I feel like there's a lack of curiosity for experience here. Like we danced our butts off the whole night. And he's a father of 4. And so he's like usually at home, like he's a father of 4. He's taking care of kids. Right. And so like seeing him just kind of like blossom in this space. And we used to like do dance battles as kids. Like he's 3 years older than me. So like we used to watch like You Got Served and like all those dance movies, Step Up 1, 2. So like we were like doing goofy stuff like that. And like we just fully fell into like the curation of it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like there are times where in this city, if something is aiming towards curation, I feel like people try to hone it towards something that is familiar to them, where like people requesting music when a DJ is working, let them just do it. Like if they're clearly providing you with with an experience that is, there's like love in it, and they're not just playing the same songs that they've been playing for the last 3 years, but they're actually doing something. Mm-hmm. They actually care. Let them work. Let them cook. Quit trying to, can you play Journey? Like, I don't want to hear that song again. So that's my answer. A lack of curiosity for a curated space to exist as what it is.
I like that answer. And don't stop believing. You will. It might just come to pass. Finally, I have made several mentions of this, that you are a man of many talents. I would like to know something that you have tried to get into, but just couldn't. You just couldn't get into it.
I gave up on playing the. I tried the bass. I didn't really care for it. My fingers just, I didn't care.
So unlike hip hop, you were not a natural at the bass.
I could have been. I just didn't want to take the time. I decided to focus on those 4 things, and then also the saxophone. I wanted to learn the saxophone, and I just said, I got all this other stuff I could be doing right now. I'll let the other saxophonists do their thing, who have been doing this for 10 years, and I'll let them kill it, and I'll partner with them on something, but I don't need to do it. I'll be okay.
And is this a recent thing, or was this, or was this a little earlier? In middle school or high school?
No, this was in the last. This was this year.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Okay.
when I was in New Orleans, I was literally like playing someone else's like saxophone, and I was so fixated. I was like, I'm gonna do it. I want to learn the saxophone. Because I love the sound of the saxophone, the bass, and drums. Those are like my trinity of sound. And after just like attempting it a little bit, I was like, you know what? I'm good.
Yeah, you can stick with Morphine. You know the band Morphine, Boston band.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, what are you?
The Boston band. The lead singer Mark Salmon passed away quite a while ago. But yeah, their whole shtick was they were bass, saxophone, and drums, and that was it.
I'm gonna have to check them out.
Yeah. I'm glad to have made a music recommendation that you can follow, and maybe I'll catch it in a future DJ set.
Hey, send me some stuff. And also, Emeruz is all ages. So if there's a night that you want to bring the kiddos,
yeah, or the 8-year-olds who are listening to this podcast, we have to keep it clean for them. They know they can come down to Emeruz and you'll play the Bluey theme.
I'll play the Blue. Oh, gee.
Darrien, thank you so much for coming in and chatting about this. And I sincerely hope it was not the last time, because I feel like there are many more avenues we got to explore.
It definitely will not be the last time.